How we doing, guys? It is finished. Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. And you'll have to excuse my voice because I haven't got much left. But let's just get straight into it. That was the most abysmal performance I have seen from Arsenal all season. Terrible. From minute 1 to minute 97 and a half or whatever it was. Terrible. But we got the 3 points. But my word, did we get lucky. Wolves scored 3 goals and ended up losing the game. Both of our goals were own goals. How's your luck? But we needed that luck. Because like I said, it was abysmal. The performance was just terrible. That first half performance, I never want to see anything like that again. Not a single shot on target. There's players there that I'm looking at and I'm scratching my head and I'm thinking, what are you doing? It just makes no sense. Martinelli, very poor. Eza, very poor. Victor Gyökeres, very poor. Like, what am I witnessing? What happened to Madueke? I was actually just thinking of that when I was reeling off the names there, that scores 2 goals in midweek and doesn't even get on the pitch. That made no sense. That's a strange one. But, yeah, when I was just saying there, Victor Gyökeres, how long are we going to keep, saying that he doesn't get any service? And how long are we going to keep sitting here and saying it will come good eventually? I want nothing more than for it to come good for Victor Gyökeres. I would love for him to start scoring goals, and I would love for him to be an absolute goal-scoring machine. But I just cannot see it. I'm starting to look and think it's not working. And if you go right back to before we actually bought him, I said that I did not feel he fit our system. It didn't make sense to me that we were going to buy a player that everybody else has to change their game and fit around, rather than assign a player that fits into the system that's already in place. It just didn't make sense. He had an unbelievable few years in Portugal, but the Portuguese league is not the Premier League. Even some of the worst defenders in the Premier League are finding it easy against Victor Gyökeres. There's moments in his game where I think, okay, that's good. And then there's moments in his game where I'm thinking, that's terrible. And in the first half, I think it was Saka that delivered an unbelievable cross in the box. And we've been crying out for a goal scorer, somebody that's going to be there on the end of those type of crosses. And he just wasn't reacting. And you can go back to the Aston Villa game. Last seconds of the game, Declan Rice puts that ball in the box. He's not reacting. I don't know whether it's because he's lost that spark in his game. He doesn't know when the ball's going to come or not. But I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, it doesn't look good. And there's loads of people that put their face in front of a camera to give their opinions that have backed Victor Gyökeres from the very beginning, and they made such a big thing over it and that they had to sign him, and they're still backing him now because they can't admit what's happening in front of them. They don't want to look like an idiot for getting it wrong. And like I said, I've backed him since he's been here. I want him to succeed. But from the very beginning, I've had reservations. And from the very beginning, I just didn't see how he fit our system. And I look at, strikers that were on the market and what they're doing currently and everything. I'd love the striker at Liverpool. And I don't mean Isak. I think he would have fitted our system and what we're about perfectly. And I think everyone knows who I'm on about. But listen, at the end of the day, it's never going to happen. It is what it is. And I just really hope that things can start to turn for Victor Gyökeres. And on the flip side as well, for as bad as I felt he was for large parts of this game, when he came off, I feel we actually missed him. I think it was the wrong substitution to make. And I know that Gabriel Jesus was the one that, challenged for the header that was the own goal, and we won it in the last seconds. But I just felt it invited pressure. I could see Wolves' equaliser 3 minutes before they even scored it. I don't know why we sat back. I don't know why we invited pressure, because it doesn't matter whether you're playing a team at the top end of the table or the bottom end of the table. If you allow them to continually get cross after cross into the box and have a sustained period of pressure, then ultimately they're going to score. It had Sunderland written all over it again. And when they equalised, I thought, oh no. We have literally thrown away 2 points against the worst team in the league. And Wolves are that. They're a terrible, terrible, terrible side. Will probably go down as one of the worst sides in Premier League history. If, they don't beat Derby's points total, that's for sure. But they defended for their lives today. And I watched them against Manchester United on Monday, and they were unorganised. They weren't interested. They just looked an absolute shambles. And then they came up against us and they sat with a low block, as everybody does, and they defended for their lives. I think it probably frustrates some Wolves fans, and they think that why can't they give that every single week? And, they'll probably win quite a few games if they can at least dig in the way that they did. But, we nearly threw that one away. But like I said, we got very lucky. We got another own goal. The first one's an own goal by the goalkeeper. Bukayo Saka takes the corner, hits the post, comes out, hits the goalkeeper's arm and goes in the net. Own goal. And then the second goal, Jesus jumps for the header, defender heads it. It's an own goal. So Wolves have scored 3 goals and still on the losing team. Like, that's mad. If you'd have said to Wolves fans before the game that you will score 3 goals at the Emirates, they would have thought, wow, what on earth's going on here? We might have a chance of winning the game. Nah, they still lost it. But yeah, listen, something needs to be done about that. And some of the performances, like I said, were just terrible. But I also think that emphasizes just how much we miss the likes of Gabriel when we get into those final moments. Somebody that's going to lead the back line and be that leader and just push everyone up. Stop dropping so deep. I think the only positive, like I said, that you can take from today's game is the fact that we got the 3 points. And the likes of Man City and whatnot would have been watching that game thinking, wow, this lot have thrown away a win against Wolves at home. What a bonus this is. And they would have seen that equaliser, been absolutely buzzing, and then bang, we go and snatch the winner. Football, eh? It's mad, isn't it? But yeah, listen, I can't really say much more than that, to be honest with you. I think it was just a real abysmal game of football. It was cold. and it was played at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. It feels like midweek to me. It doesn't feel like Saturday evening. Oh, it's mad. It's absolutely mad, to be honest with you. But listen, we got the 3 points. That's all I can say. We move on. We got a week's rest now. We need it. My word, get on the training pitch and work on some stuff. Another injury as well. Looks like Ben White's injured, and that's why I didn't want him to play this game. Oh, when it rains, it pours, as they say. But listen, we got the win. I can't say much more than that. Didn't deserve it. We were abysmal, but we move on. It's that simple. So there you go. You know what to do if you haven't already. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.